Thanks so much for joining us. This is MeWe Fairs, safe space for authenticity and transformation. We have events in person in the Pacific Northwest and online. And today we have our Cosmic Conversations event. This is an opportunity to have conversations about everything. There are four of us that are helping run the event tonight, hosting the event tonight. We're all going to introduce ourselves so you know who we are and what we do and what our interest is in hosting Cosmic Conversations and being part of this discussion. We have a whole group of you in the audience. More people can join us if they want, and more people will probably be joining us throughout. And we're here to just have conversation together as community. So let's have all of us introduce ourselves and let's dive in. Who wants to go? Do you want to go in the same order as before?
I'll go. Otherwise, we'd be here for like 10 minutes. Okay, I'm Crystal Novak. I'm a psychic conscious channel. I do energy work. I also do mentoring and short-term coaching. Also a writer. And I've been doing this work of service for almost 45 years. Um, yes, Kai, I'm saying Uh, Kai and I were just part of a retreat recently, and Kai videoed it, and then she went in to clean it up for me. And I said, about 8 minutes worth that she edited out of the whole thing. So that's why I'm teasing myself and teasing Kai. But at any rate, we're here for Cosmic Conversation this evening. Looking forward to sharing with you and exploring and hearing what's going on with you and hearing out what's going on with us. Um, and can't wait to get started. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Crystal.
And I'm Kai. I'm a Hawaiian kahuna, which is the Hawaiian version of a shaman. I'm a mentor, author, speaker, energy expert. There's not a lot as far as energy that I can't do because I can trace it past, present, future. And my specialty is actually removing negative energy from people, places, and things. I have the ability to see those things and I can work remotely. So I'm really excited to be a part of this event because it allows me to learn new things, it allows me to teach new things, um, and it allows me to help people and for people to help me. So I am thrilled that you all are here and that we're going to just dive right into whatever happens to be the topic because we don't ever know what it's going to be. And um, obviously, whoever needed to be here is who's here. And I'm excited to see where we end up tonight. So thanks for coming.
Thanks, Kai and Rosemary.
I'm Rosemary. This is my first opportunity to participate in the Cosmic Conversation, and I'm really excited to be here. I am a spiritualist, a minister, a writer, but my goal and Avisha, which is Sanskrit for a spiritual teacher, to help bring knowledge to people to kind of accept the coming of the next avatar. My goal is the Hermetic principles and teaching people how to use those principles to help guide their lives on a personal level. I'm excited to hear what's going on in the world. There's a lot happening on Earth and in the universe that affects all of us. I am excited to be a part of the spontaneity, and I can't wait to hear from you. So thanks for having me, and I'm glad you're here.
We're excited to have you join us, Rosemary. We've been having guests at some of our gatherings, and it's great to have you as our guest.
Thanks.
And I'm Lorelei Shamayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. I used to be a scientist, worked in the legal field, just in business for a while, leadership coaching, and learned tools for working with people. Had no idea that I was doing anything intuitive. And to get better and better at the personality assessments I was doing, I had to learn to trust myself, which turns out was opening my intuition. And it's been in community, offering my space for community events and then being part of the community, running events for the community is how I've continued to open my gifts with time and learn from everyone. I always used to get jealous when Kai and Crystal were having a chat when I'd be wandering around the fair. And I'm like, oh, I want to participate. And I was busy and couldn't do that. So I'm thrilled that they wanted to have this event, so that I could participate and I could also be part of the learning experience. And I've learned tons of things and I love sharing what I know. So it's great to be able to do this together. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for asking for the event. Thank you for joining us as a guest participant host, and then all the participants that have come. This is how we're able to do these things. Oh yeah. So thanks so much. I'll put my information in the chat too. All right. Anything else we want to say before we dive into whatever we are discovering we are diving into today? I just should say all general conversation is included in being here today. And you're welcome to unmute and ask questions from your chair in the audience. You can come up here on stage if you want and be in the recording. This is going to get posted on our YouTube channel. And if you want to be totally confidential, you can just chat us messages and we will talk through the chat, and answer questions here in the video. So we're open to however you want to participate today. It's fine, as someone was mentioning earlier, it's fine to just listen. It's fine to ask questions. It's fine to share about your experiences. We just want to be here together and grow and learn together. And we know there are a couple of you that we're going to work with later today. And more people are coming. It's great.
So, does anybody have any topics that they wanted to start off with, or anything that's kind of been on your mind, or a question that came up, or a book that you're reading that is like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I think I should share it. What do you think? Anybody?
Well, I'd like to talk about a new channel that I just discovered today. It kind of started with a scientific information about this new thing that has entered our atmosphere. And it is 3I Atlas. I just heard about it yesterday for the first time. It was pretty exciting. It's an interplanetary item. They don't know what it is that has entered our space. But the more they talk about it, might be, cosmic beings from our ancient past revisiting us. And so in my search in finding more about this, I came across the channel that the reason I stopped at it was because the host was an actress that played in a comedy show that would come on in the afternoons, but she was actually a neurophysicist. Her name is Mayim Bialik.
Mayim Bialik. Yeah.
Yes. And in her channel, the first thing she was talking about that took me to the channel was this item. But she later interviewed Deepak Chopra, and she talked to a gentleman about consciousness and someone else about cosmic travel, astral travel. And I mean, I was just impressed with all of the things that she was talking about that had to do with consciousness, our inner being, and our future development as a species with our unique metaphysical things that are coming online. And so I would love to just, introduce people to that channel because as a matter of fact, I have it on in the background right now. It's muted, it's paused, but when I get off here, I'm going back to it.
That sounds great. Yeah, what's it called? Or do you have a link for it? Feel free to put it in the chat. Or
I will find it and put it in, but it's Dr. Mayim, Mayim Bialik, Bialk, and it's her channel just on YouTube. And it was just interesting because of the guests that she had on there, and she was just primarily interviewing them, but it kind of merged the woo-woo with the scientific, and that's what I found so interesting in it. So because I teach, I love the ancient knowledge. I love the ancient ancestors. My biggest goal in life, I've written a book before about who we are and the awakening of the Avisha within us. But my goal is how to connect that ancient information to what they're trying to tell us about who we are to become. Because I think that's the goal of all of this. And everything that's happening is awakening that inner knowledge within us and our conscious conversation to the universe and one another. So I get really excited about that.
Great.
I'll include that link later when I can find it.
Yeah, that's great. And
I've watched several of those of her shows, and she covers lots of topics. And yeah, even like real world, like potential World War III kind of stuff, and all that political stuff. And it's a nice mix because Mayim herself is the neuroscientist and she's very skeptical about things. And she's like, I really want the science behind it. Like, show me the studies. But her partner, Jonathan, he's an energy healer. He's very open to this kind of stuff. He's like super woo woo on the other side. So it's really nice to hear them speak about things because she's just like, okay, what is the science behind this? Like, how many studies have they done? And Jonathan's like, well, the way this feels is so it's a nice dichotomy when, especially when they talk about these kinds of topics. And Mayim, whenever like Jonathan's like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. Mayim goes, what? So it's kind of nice to watch her freak out a little bit while she's trying to absorb these concepts in a way that doesn't make scientific sense, the way she logics things out. So it's fascinating to watch. But I like that she's open to it. So yeah, Rosemary, you're right. It's a great channel to watch. The episodes are very, very long. So you have to make sure that you have the time to watch them because they're not like short little 20, 30 minute. They're like 2 hours. So you have to chunk out some time for them, but they're valuable. They'll make you think about things. So yeah, I do like that channel. And every once in a while I will jump on. I have not watched that episode about the thing that's coming towards us because I just haven't been able to chunk out the time for it. But yeah, that's something that I'm probably going to be watching when I get a moment because everybody's talking about what is this thing that's coming towards us. And because some people are like, oh, it's just a big fat meteor, and other people are like, yeah, but it's got lights on it, and it's like it's moving towards us in this pattern that is not like an orbit, like a regular rock would. And so there's all this speculation as to what it is, and is it gonna actually change course and hit us, or some stuff like that. So it's just it's a very interesting topic. But yeah, like if you want to like dive deep into stuff, then Mayim's channel is a great place to start. Really dig in.
Great, thanks. I know it's been buried a little bit, but Alina put her name in the chat up there. But yeah, we'll get the link to the YouTube channel in a little bit. Yeah, that's great. Great. Anyone else? So I know we have new people coming in. You're welcome to participate in the conversation. We are recording this and it'll go up on our YouTube channel. You're welcome to jump in up on stage with us if you like. You can chat from your chair. And if you want to be anonymous, you can also fully anonymous. You can just write questions in the chat. But yeah, anyone else have anything you've run into lately, or do you have comments about the thing coming towards us that I hadn't heard about yet?
On this subject, Ishmael Perez has talked about this for quite a long time. The only problem I don't like listening to him is that he's so political about it. He's very much a Trump backer, and it's a lot about, and it's so I don't like listening to that. But he talks all about the Three Eye Atlas and everything. So I've heard about it for quite a while, but I don't and he's very long-winded too, but I don't like to listen to him very often until I want to catch up on some things that are going on because I don't like the political part of it. So
Yeah, so maybe there's another option for learning about those kinds of things. Yeah, great.
Yeah, so as Crystal had mentioned, she and I did a retreat last weekend with Mo called Unplugged from Fear, and it was really, really great because we were able to kind of dig into different types of different concepts, I guess, regarding it, and let go of a lot of things that are holding us back. And I think that that's an important topic just in general, because a lot of people find themselves being very fearful of the unknown, or whatever they imagine the worst case scenario to be. And I think it's important for us to kind of at least think about where our thoughts and feelings are directing us, because it's the thoughts and feelings that drive our actions. And so before we actually take actions, maybe we should kind of examine the thoughts and feelings that we're having and decide, like, make a conscious choice and say, is that what I really want to be doing, or do I want to be doing this instead? And I think by us taking that little measure of control, it can help us kind of tamp down the anxiety that a lot of us are feeling, that will mitigate some of the fear that we're feeling, and help us to stabilize a little bit more. And in doing so, would help stabilize the people around us. And, hopefully that continues to spread so that there's that little bit of a stabilizing energy that happens throughout in our families, our businesses, our jobs, our communities. Then that way, whenever the next thing happens, whatever that happens to be, we have some resilience built up and we don't feel like we're getting punched in the face every 5 minutes. Because I know some people were like, yeah, man, it just feels like it keeps coming. It keeps coming. Like we don't catch our breath and it's coming again. There's some other crazy thing. There's some other bizarre statement that someone's made about something. And so it's clear to me that you're not going to find stability out there somewhere, right? Stability will start internally.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it will start to spread out to different people. So just as that's kind of what's been on my mind for the past couple of days. And then I started reading a book it's called You Are the Mountain by Brianna Wiest. And it's transforming from self-sabotage to self-mastery.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a very long book, but it's like super profound. And it was kind of weird how I found it because I don't know, I was on Amazon for something. I think I was ordering cat food or something. I don't know. And it popped up and like my guides were like, you need to get that book. So I bought the book and I started reading it and I couldn't put it down because it was just wrapped up in all this stuff, like how you view things. What is your perception
Mm-hmm.
creating for you?
Mm-hmm.
What are you reacting to instead of responding to?
Yes.
And so I thought that was really fascinating. I mean, and that's a lot of what we were working on at the retreat. And here it is coming back again to me in a different format. And so if you guys are thinking about this like self-sabotage stuff and why am I stuck or whatever, think about maybe you should check out this book and just see if it resonates with you. And again, it's called The Mountain Is You. It's not You Are the Mountain because there's like a million books. It's like The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, Wiest. And if it resonates with you, pick it up. I mean, for me, it was like, oh, I never thought of it that way. And everything that you do, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to do Cosmic Conversations, is once you hear something and you resonate with it, then that becomes part of your greater cosmology. Whether or not you use it at the moment doesn't matter. Like it's in your kind of like your storehouse of knowledge, I guess you could say. And then when you need that information, you're like, oh, wait, there it is. And then you can utilize it. And so I just found that kind of, I mean, I don't really believe in coincidences, but it was kind of odd that I'm like scrolling through looking for cat snacks or something and this book pops up. I'm like, what's that? I'm like, okay, all right. I'll go with the drive there. And yeah, it's for the last 2 days, I've been going through it. I've been taking notes. I haven't been able to put it down. And so to me, that says like it was time for me to kind of absorb this information in a different way than we talked about last weekend. So yeah, just kind of give that some thought. Like, where are you in terms of thought and feeling and conscious choices that you're making? Because there was an interesting statement in the book that emotion is temporary, behavior is permanent. And I thought, holy mackerel.
I know
Yeah.
emotions are waves, but say more about action is permanent.
Well, it's behavior that's permanent,
The
because it's
behavior
like
that's permanent.
when you when you get an emotion and then you react to it, like you do something and then you're like, dang it, I shouldn't have done that, right? So it's like if you have the emotion and you feel the emotion and then you think about what you want to do, then the behavior that the reflection that you want to have outside can actually change and change in a good way, not necessarily a bad way. So you can react to something, or I mean, you can respond to something and not react to it. So that's why that's what made me think of that. It's like, yeah, emotion is temporary. So if you get really pissed off and you punch somebody in the face, like that's not good. right? But if you get really angry and you take a breath and then you're like, okay, I really don't want to punch you in the face now, then maybe what I can do is just make a different choice and walk away and come back later. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
that thought process of like, oh, wait, I actually don't have to react. I can respond.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
to
yeah,
me,
I think that's interesting.
I know to me, all the reaction is driven by fear. So that's why I love that the theme was fear last weekend. So yeah, I think that is driven by fear. And so if fear is like we're having a big wave of fear, that's not actually a snake to do something about, but it's something that we're conjuring, making up, connecting to the past, all the,
Mhm.
imagining of the
Yeah.
future, all those things. And we make choices in that sense, or they seem like choices, right? From that, yeah, I would get myself in trouble as opposed to if is it authentic? Is it driven by fear and reactivity, right? Is it authentic? Is it really what I want
Yeah,
or
and
want to
that's kind
stop
of
or,
where we are right now. Like a lot of people are kind of in that survive mode where we react instead of respond. So I think that was fascinating.
Yeah. Reacting is not conscious choice. That's like a knee-jerk response.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, if you are in that state where you're that anxious or you're coming from a fear state, then everything seems scary and there doesn't seem like there's any way out. It's like you've cut yourself off from any kind of resources or different way of looking at something because you've been hijacked by your fear. Um, and depending on how what your experience was growing up, um, if you're being, I call it having a $10 reaction to a 10-cent item, then you are triggered. And triggering is related to the past, it's not related to the present. So if you're getting triggered by something or your anxiety is ramped up by an experience, then that's based on a previous or more than one experience. Um, so your fear center, your survival center, this body is hardwired for survival. So we have that reptile brain on 24/7 that's, looking around and checking things out all the time to make sure we're safe. Um, if you've grown up in a traumatic situation, then the trauma got linked in to the screening for fear and for danger. And so part of being an adult now, and talking about also what Kai was just saying is checking out that response. Like if you had a big response, it's like, wow, what was that about? And then, you can start sitting down with yourself and saying, where did that come from? What's that about? And begin to like kind of untangle it. Um, I've used this analogy before, which is like, how many of you have ever been cooking and the smoke alarm goes off, right? And it's annoying because nothing's on fire. You just overcook something or it's a lot of smoke or, from bacon or whatever. Um, but if it goes off in the middle of the night, then you're probably going to jump out of bed and see if the house is on fire or not. So it's kind of the same thing now with that fear. It's like, is it happening now? It's like recalibrating your survival fire smoke alarm so it only goes off for real stuff instead of old stuff or reaction kind of related things. Um,
right? And we say F has something that they want to share. So just saying, do you want to speak from your chair? Do you want to turn on your video and come up on stage? Just want to give you a choice. Okay, great. Yeah, did
Hi,
you want to?
Laura. I just speak from my chair.
Okay,
Um,
great.
I just want to respond to what everyone's already chatting about. Like a few weeks ago, I got kind of a homework assignment from one of my teachers, the Guan Yin Bodhisattva, and she asked me to practice using loving kindness, compassion to treat everyone and do everything that I do. And then just like last a couple of days ago, when I was at work, there was like a really horrible situation that happened with my coworker where somebody ran into my office and demanded that I drop everything to immediately do something for them. And then like when I told her that, I didn't have time at the moment, like she then screamed. me. Um, and like in that moment, of course, I was upset because she screamed at me. But then, like, I think my assignment kind of, because I think a lot about it, even when I'm not like really actively practicing it, but it's like an undercurrent that I kind of think a lot about. And in that moment, it kind of like dampened my anger. So I was able to like just compose myself and be calm. I even said to her, like, oh, yeah, stressful times when I was doing her work for her. And she continued being like really upset. And long story short, I guess it turned out to be a test from the divine to see if I have completed my homework. And like what's funny is that they kind of threw a decoy because I got like a few days ago I got a message. A few days before that I got a message saying like my last homework assignment at my current job is to complete another assignment to resolve some like conflict that I had with another person. And then actually that meeting with that person is right after the person that came to my office and screamed at me. So after I resolved things with her, I mean at the end like we even hugged. That's how well it resolved. And I told her that because she was really really upset. And I just felt like anything that I said was just making her like triggering her anger. So I just told her I was like Amber, you're my friend, and I love you as my friend, you know. Like anything that you ask of me, I would try to do it 100% if I could. And if I tell you that I'm not able to, there's like a reason. But just trust that I love you and I think of you as a friend. And I said, like, this incident between us is just like the heat of the moment. I said it happens to between any friends. And I said I don't want it to like affect our friendship, because I love you and that's it. And I said, let's hug.
It
And
sounds like, let's say, it sounds like you're doing great. You're recognizing when you have lessons, you're working with your lessons, you're recognizing when you're getting tested, you're seeing how you're making progress, you're staying in a loving space and recognizing people are where they are. Sounds like you're doing great.
well, in the moment, I didn't know it was a test. I didn't think of it because, it happened like really sudden and it was like an explosion, honestly. But all I can say is that because of that incident, my follow-up meeting with the other person who I thought was the real test seemed like a cakewalk. And so I basically resolved like past two tests in one day. But then I was totally drained after that. I did not go to the gym. I went home and ate a big dinner and then went to bed.
You grounded. Sometimes eating a big dinner, like a big healthy dinner, is grounding. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I just want to share that because when Kai was saying about how like us being triggered and being reactionary, like I have a bad temper and I used to totally be that way.
Used
And
to.
just through my cultivation on my journey, I'm able to kind of like slow myself down and
Yeah.
then remember um, that I love everyone basically, and then go from there.
Yeah. Can I comment on that?
Yeah.
That's one of the challenges of personal mastery. We have to remember that we have decided to kind of take control of our emotions and so on. But when we go out into the world, we get those challenges because we forget that other people aren't on the same journey with us. And like Kai was saying, when we're trying to change old habits, we are going in and realizing that, yeah, somebody made me upset, but I didn't have to get upset. So the next time the situation happens, I don't want to get upset. I want to handle it differently. But when you get in those situations, they happen, when you least expect it with the person you least expect. And so, like Kai said, taking that moment to just catch your breath, refocusing, and remember, your goal is that I want to be loving. Even though she's being a fart, I still want to be loving. And that's why you say, hey, wait a minute, I still love you. We still okay, but now is not the time because I've got these other things I've got to do. You've had the opportunity to be selfish, to take control back of your spirit, your time, and whatever else you had to do at the moment. But let her know, I don't hate her. I don't hate you because you're coming at me at this space. And I recognize that it might be something else going on with you. And it's not personal, so you've taken your personal feelings away from that and took control and mastered that and said, okay, I still love you, but this can't go on. So not only do you walk away with a sense of control and mastery, but you still don't have that negative conflict in you that you would have brought before because you said, okay, she's pissing me off and I want her out of my face. It's like, wait a minute, I still love you. I know there's stuff going on with you. And it emanated to her to where she was like, okay, well, I guess it isn't personal. Yeah, she still does love me. And I still love her. It's just, I got this other stuff going on. And you were willing to extend love to her and she reciprocated. That's why it ended up in a hug, And so because you had that power in the next situation, not only did you pass the test with something you didn't anticipate coming in, the other seemed so small and irrelevant. You just kind of coasted through that. So congratulations on passing your test, but that's kind of how life works. When you think you've got it, when I first started this journey, they said, if you think you've mastered yourself, go home.
Yeah.
Because you'll find all those things back. Yes.
I mean, actually, what happened was that I did sit down and start doing the work for her and complete that work. And
That
then
was
I
your
ended up
choice.
being 10 minutes late to the next meeting that was supposed to be the test. But I explained to the person that, I'm going to be a few minutes late and he was fine, but basically we resolved everything. Like, I feel like with love, in both situations.
Well, it
And
sounds
then,
like you did proactive communication, right? You consciously were changing the agreement, checking in about things, but heading at least in that direction of more consciously changing your agreement. Yeah.
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 It's
And
okay to do the work, if you feel okay with it. Now, if you took
yeah,
resentment into it, then that's a whole nother story. But if you felt okay with taking that extra 10 minutes, you might have taken a project to the next level, just because you approached it that way instead of being angry and saying, dang it, why am I doing this? And but you took the anger out of it. You brought love into it. So who knows the benefits of that 10 minutes that you've put into that project. So I'm
But I
not saying don't do it. I'm just saying go into it with a consciousness of love instead of, anger and resentment.
but I think
yeah,
part of the lesson here, part of the demonstration here is that everything is a learning opportunity. We
Absolutely.
always have the
yes.
opportunity of engaging something more consciously than we have before, with more
Absolutely.
And
skillfulness
what's
than
fun
we did
is that
before. Yep.
What's fun is that night, like in the middle of the night,
Uh,
I woke up because I was
Well, just
making a lot of
Laura,
ham.
I appreciate you sharing. I think I want to transition on to some other topics.
Oh, okay, no.
Yeah,
Okay,
this
yeah,
sounds
go ahead.
really great. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's great. It's great. All right. Well, let's see. We were talking a little bit about fear, right? And fear can be a driver for not showing up consciously. Fear gets in the way of us being open to our intuition, gets in the way of us doing work with people.
Absolutely.
This is one reason why I've always suggested to people that they are careful to not charge more money than they can really hold and integrate. Like if I charge more for my services than I know I'm worth, then I get into a question of my value and I'm not sharing my gifts. Whereas if I find a place where I so know my value, it feels good and I feel at ease and I feel valued by the exchange, then I'm maximally open. Similar, like if I charge too little and I get into a resentful place, like I'm not going to be open. So it's like finding that sweet spot of where does the flow and the energy and the exchange feel really good. And I use my body system, being in this body, right, as a way of testing to see where that is. Hey, check in with guides, all kinds of things for making choices.
That's a tough one though. When you're in when you're practicing, especially when you're like at a fair or something like that, and you have people who have like the overlapping gifts, and you're just like, okay, like that person is not charging enough. Like, why is that person charging that price because it becomes this weird value system based on different things. And so when you're trying to do, I mean, and just as speaking for myself, like just looking at your own pricing structure, you're like, well, I know I'm stronger than that person, but am I as good as that person? You automatically do this weird like comparison thing. Um, and then if you try to judge it just based on your own stuff, right? Like if your own your own self-worth is not well established, then you automatically lowball yourself,
Well,
right?
but
So
I
when
think
it
that's
comes
where
to like
I get
gifts
to
and
meet.
money, it's like weird.
Well, that's why I think it's important that I, like, in terms of charging, I meet myself energetically with where I am. So if I don't think I'm worth this much, I need to charge less than that. And it's my journey to own my value so that I can charge more. I really believe that. And then I think of everything as feedback. So for me at a fair, I happen to do something that other people don't do. So it's in some ways I don't have the same practical experience. The thing that occurs to me is it's up to me to make choices about things in that moment. So do I want to shift my prices based on what the people around me are doing, based on who the people are that are coming, based on the economy of the moment? Do I want to be at this event because of who else is here and what they're charging? Is it an opportunity for me to, I know my value and shine my light brightly, and the people that want me will notice me and will come to me? So there's all kinds of different choices in that context. So am I making choices in the moment? Am I present to what's happening in the moment?
I also think, though, that one would have to look at one's beliefs around money and value and themselves, which you sort of are talking about, because you're saying you don't feel comfortable with yourself if you feel like you're charging too much. Um, but if you just have to look at your beliefs around money, because there's so many different ways that we can block ourselves to being able to receive money, because money has such a huge worship in our society. I mean, that's supposed to be you've made it if you've got all this money. Doesn't matter what kind of person you are, but you've made it because you have all this money. Um, and I think that sometimes and I'm not saying this about you, Lorelai, I'm just saying in general, if someone is struggling with self-esteem and especially if you're new and you're looking around at all these other people, then you might start judging yourself based on whatever your internal beliefs are, that you can't charge that amount of money. So I just think it's a little more involved than
Maybe
it's a starting place. Yeah,
let
well,
me
you
say it
talked
more
about
clearly. Whatever I believe my value is in a moment, if I am attempting to charge more than that, that will get in my way. If I'm attempting to charge a bunch less than that, it will get in my way. And so there's a typical amount I charge, but if my self-value is going up and down relative to that, it'll affect what I do. I feel like ideally I won't allow myself to get paid more than the value that I believe I am. If I allow myself to get paid more than I realize, then I'm like, oh, I've shifted in my value, like in what I see myself and what I allow myself to receive. I mean, I think it's like we're talking about money, but it's like receiving anything. So to me, if they're in sync, I think I'm maximally open to my gifts flowing through me. And if the things are off, then I think that ends up closing things. Like I'm not to say if I say I'm worth more than I really believe I'm worth, that will get in my way. And if I say I'm worth a bunch less than I am, and I'm only letting myself receive here, and I believe I'm worth here, I believe that gets in my way.
Yeah, I agree with all three of you, because how you value yourself definitely has an effect on what other people are going to see as the value in you, because they represent what you see in yourself. And also, we all have an idea about money based on what our parents believed, especially if we thought, our parents believed money was the root of all evil. Then you want to get rich, but you don't want to get rich because you don't want to be like those evil people. That's the belief that's ingrained with us that we don't even realize, but it's something that we've heard in our foundation that kind of sets the tone as to what money is. You're evil if you have a lot of money. And also our self-worth when we go into a place and there's other people that are demonstrating similar products that we do, and some of them might say, I'm charging $300 for a session, and others are like $45 for a session. Well, we think that the average person thinks because that person is only charging $45, they are either not good or they don't value themselves. Or, if they're charging 300 and I'm charging what's fair at $100 an hour, am I better than them because, or am I worse than them because they're charging so much? So that's our self-worth. How do we provide a service that we feel is important? I think the main thing that we have to do, because we all bring a little bit of something, like Crystal and I are very similar in our approach to bringing Hermetic principles into our teaching, but we don't teach the same thing. So we can't value ourselves the same. So I value Crystal as a spiritual teacher that brings something unique. And I also look at myself as somebody who brings something unique. And two people can walk into a room and hit it off with Crystal and not even come to my table if we're in the fair, because we do the fairs together. But there are people that have come around and you just connect with them. Those are the people, like what Kai said, that are supposed to be there.
Right.
Because you have a message for them, not because of who you are, but because of what your connection is. And that's what we have to remember we're trying to bring to the conversation, to the situation. So just because Crystal has 10 people at her table and I only have 3, the 3 that I connect with really sees the value in what I bring them. So I have to appreciate that it was her day.
And whenever I go to a fair, I'm always saying like, okay, whoever I'm supposed to meet today will come to my table. And some days it's 10 people, some days it's 3 people. Um, and I don't feel like I did anything to make people stay away or make people come over. I'm just like staying in the phone going, okay, you guys are running the show. I'm doing a work of service. If you're supposed to come to my table, then you will. And sometimes people just come up to the table and say hi and stand there for a few minutes and then they keep going. And I know they've been quote unquote inoculated by the energy that I run. They've stepped into that energy and now they've had a little zap. So I planted an energy seed and it'll unfold the way it's supposed to unfold, even though I didn't necessarily sit with that person. Um, the other thing I'm thinking about around this whole topic is part of it, I think, has to do with how well we receive. How well do we let stuff come to us? Um, and I think a lot of us have been taught like we have to give it all away or we can't hang on to anything or that type of thing. Or it's weak if you ask for help or that type of thing. Um, but that to me is a stance about receptivity and how open are you to allow yourself to receive, which I think makes an impact as well on this topic about money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. There is a related question in the chat. We might, how much do soul contracts affect our fears, anxiety, or vows of poverty?
Can.
Yeah, it can make a direct effect.
Mhm.
Because sometimes it's kind of, I liken it back to, in the days when shamans were in the middle of villages and they didn't actually have to earn money because the tribe took care of them for their service.
Mhm.
And so that was our vow of poverty that we took, because we do this sort of work over and over as we go through our different lives. But now we're at a point where those vows of poverty don't serve us because we have to pay bills now. And we don't have a tribe taking care of us and hunting for us and bringing us food and all the stuff that we need in exchange for the services that we bring. So if someone does have a vow of poverty, which can be in the form of a soul contract, then that is, if the person is having a lot of financial issues for whatever reason, that could be one thing, one aspect that could be affecting why they're having so much financial stuff. Aside from, societal programming, like the whole root of, money is the root of all evil kind of stuff, like all that stuff can be additional because there's different aspects and we get our belief system is complicated. We get them from many different forms, many different aspects. And soul contracts could be like the thing, or it could just be one of the things that are impeding whatever we're doing. So yeah, one of the first things I did when somebody had mentioned like vows of poverty, and I'm like, wait, do I have one of those? And I had to go look. And it turned out I did. And I was like, oh no, no, we're getting rid of that. So I got rid of mine. And then other people were like, do I have one? Can you get rid of it? I'm like, yes. And then I was looking at soul contracts, and depending upon what is in your contracts, those can amp up your fear. They can't amp up your anxiety. It can amp up whatever you've got, whatever situation you have. It can exacerbate things. So if you do spend time with the Akashic Records and looking at soul contracts for whatever your issue is, it is to your benefit to see if there is something. There might not be, but it doesn't hurt to check. And the way I do with soul contracts is I go to the Akashic Library. I have a librarian that works with me, and I say, okay, bring me all the documents related to this situation for this person. Keep in mind that the Akashic Records are not just contracts. There's lots and lots of documents that have lots and lots of names. So if you walk in there and go, just give me the soul contracts, they will just bring you the soul contracts. But there may be other documents that are related to the situation. So I ask for everything related, and then I ask them to sort it for me. I'm like, show me the pile that I can burn. That means these are contracts that are no longer valid, not for the highest good, totally unnecessary, but are still affecting this lifetime. The ones that I need to rewrite, meaning the ones that can be rewritten in the favor, the highest good of the person in this lifetime, and the ones that I can't touch because it's got some other stuff going on. So the ones that can be burned, I burn them. The ones that can be rewritten, I rewrite those for the highest good and the benefit of the person in this lifetime. The ones that I can't touch, they go back in the files. So think about the issue that you really need to work on, and go, if you know how to get to the Akashic Library, work with the librarians there, ask them to help you, and that's what you can do. That's an option for some people.
I think Kai is a great example of a belief that she doesn't have to do all the work, and that she can do it in an easier way, that she can utilize other energy as resources. Like, this is a great demonstration of that, of the practical ways that this shows up.
Yeah, I like to look at money as an energy. And as we all know, energy doesn't dissipate, it just changes forms. And so energy is something that we bring. If you believe in reincarnation, the soul is brought into this life to experience and to learn. So learning how to deal with the energy of money, I think, is one of the challenges that we come into this world with. Some of us were poor in other lives, and some of us were wealthy and misused money. Some of us had a relationship to where money was everything, and we did not know how to bring it out and share it with others. So a lot of those things are the lessons that we need to learn with money. So, I mean, when you see somebody homeless on the street, do you give and then you think, or I won't give because he's going to go buy something that he shouldn't have? So we use money to judge people. Those are lessons that we need to learn in this life to expand our greater soul consciousness. I understand what Kai is talking about with soul contracts and money, but I believe that if there was something in a previous life that money was a major issue, whereas you were so poor, your family was devastated because of hunger and so on, or your family was so rich and abused others because of you had money and they didn't. Those are things that we are to learn in this life. So we get challenges, like Flora was saying, tests that say, okay, you've been working on it, but is it really gone? You've got that anger, but is it really gone? So you get in a situation to where your subconscious has to respond or react. So if you react from a place of, or say, for example, you got to leave a tip. and you act from a place where, no, I can't leave any money, because I'm going to need money later. That's something that you need to work on. That's a subconscious soul experience with money that may not be. Your family might have been okay. You may not have had to deal with a lack of money, but something inside you says, I can't give that to you. You're not worth that much money. So it's learning how to not tie someone's value to a dollar, for example. So that's a contract that doesn't have to do with money, but as an expansion in relationship to money, because money is just the energy of expression. So I agree with Kai, but I don't think the contract is dealing with money. It's dealing with the energy that surrounds how we believe, because we think money is what makes the world go round, and it's not.
Well, I think a soul contract can influence your unconscious, which is where we create from.
Absolutely.
I won't say it's the be all and end all that if you go burn those contracts, oh boy, tomorrow you're going to have all the lottery numbers.
No.
But it just greases the skids. It just takes some of
Makes it conscious.
it takes some of the blocks out of the way. Um, so whatever your perceptions shape your reality. And if you think money's evil, then you're not going to pick up that quarter that's on the ground. If you think money is power, then you're going to do everything you can to have money so you can have power. It's someplace in between. It's whatever we believe it is what it is to us. And so if you have a mixed view about money, then I could see where your abundance would be impacted and your prosperity, because it might be hit and miss. It might be sometimes you'll let it come in, and other times, no, I can't take it from that place, so I'm going to block that out. Um, if you boiled everything down to what is and what is, it's thought. We live in a universe that's created from the mind of the divine, and it's a universe based on thought. So whatever you think about, that's how you go about manifesting. So the clearer your thoughts are from like being held in a place of judgment or attachment or value, then you're going to have a much different life experience than somebody else who is not open to challenging their consciousness. Uh, it all comes down to our thoughts, and thoughts are energy. And this whole place is nothing but energy. Everything is energy. Um, It just slows down enough here in the third dimension. This is the slowest vibrating dimension that it shows up as matter. Um, this is the slowest vibratory plane. So for us to incarnate here provides a very unique experience for spirit to come here and experience being human, because this experience does not exist on the other planes. There's no encounter suit. You're not walking around in one of these that has all kind of wacko feedback mechanisms, like survival brain that freaks out if you see a pipe cleaner in the corner because you thought it was a spider.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, I won't say. A friend told me about their experience with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Or somebody I know tried to like stomp the crap out of a little hair ball thing because they saw it on the floor and they didn't have their glasses on, so they stomped on a spider for 5 minutes.
I saw a
Um,
leaf that had shadow that looked like a dead mouse earlier today. It happens. I at least
Right,
went over and investigated. I didn't squeal like I might sometimes.
yeah, our mind instantly assigns something to whatever that is so we can determine if it's dangerous or not. I mean, that happens in less than a minute. I mean, a second. That's what blows my mind. That's how fast those chemicals go off, hit your system, and we respond less than a second. I mean, so it takes practice to not be reactive. You will have the stimulus, but we decide what the response is. Um, and that takes practice. Good Lord.
And
Nobody walks out of the womb like mastering that. No, it takes practice.
I think of it as the
And
gym, and we work out. Like we have the opportunity to work out and practice and grow muscles to not react.
spiritual muscles. Um, so I think I mean, it's a little more complicated than there's a lot of different ways to look at it, perspectives and stuff. So,
It's symbolic of a lot of different things.
mhm.
Yeah, it's one of the ways that things can show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, but money is a vibration. And honestly, in terms of manifestation, You just need to match your energy to it, and then it will start to come to you. And unfortunately for us, people tend to associate, like, if you have money, you're evil. If you have money, you're expected to do this. Or there's all these expectations that go with that. But in truth, it's like money doesn't care. Money's not good. Money's not evil. Money just is.
Yep.
So if you can align yourself with that vibration, then it will align your pockets. I mean,
Like
it's just that simple.
one,
And
maybe like a chip on my shoulder that I'm still carrying around, one thing I'm gonna stand for. There are some leadership programs and coaching programs, consulting programs that tell people that they should charge a certain amount, like that they should look around and like this is what blah blah blah, and if you're gonna do it, like you gotta, and they have people start much higher than they own their value at, and I think it just gets in people's way.
I agree.
Yeah, it can, because people are just like, should I be doing that? I mean, we had this conversation last weekend. Like, somebody had said something about they were able to charge $18,000 for a speaking appearance. And I went, what? Like, I cannot imagine. I mean, I'm pretty great, okay? But I cannot imagine charging someone $18,000 for me to speak.
Well, I mean,
And
if you were at MIT and it was the going rate, then okay. You
Good, if
know,
it's a
but
place that pays that and that's what they're used to paying, are we willing to
yeah,
receive that?
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you come in. If I'm willing to receive, am I qualified enough to talk to a group of MIT students and teachers about what I do? Yes, I'm qualified. However, the average person that won't see the value in me charging that amount. You know, if I was at a retreat for a weekend where they were sitting up and relaxing and so on, yeah, maybe $1,800 might be different. So it depends on the environment. The energy that's being expelled. MIT, they're going to be expecting a certain level of delivery. At a retreat, it's going to be a certain level of delivery. But if I'm speaking at a MeWe fair, I can offer it for free if I just want to introduce the subject, or I can charge because I don't have to introduce the subject. I can take people a little bit further. So qualify what it is you do, the group that you do it with, and then hold value into what the delivery is. So I think that's a big part in how you can determine if, here I'm charging $5, whereas, I go over here and I charge $500.
so it's like food, right? You can go to a fast food place and get some food. You pay a certain amount of money. You can go to the most high-end restaurant on the town and you're going to drop, $500 for a dinner. So it's kind of like whatever environment you're in, like Rosemary was just saying. Um, so yeah, if I went to an event where that was their thing and that's what they did, I'd be fine. Give me $18,000. I'm fine with that. If go to some other place and that's not what they're doing, it's like they asked me to be a speaker and all they can afford to give me is $500. If it's something that I personally value and I want to participate in that, I'll be fine with the $500.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I mean, and that makes sense to me. But if somebody calls and says, "Hey, I want you to speak at this event. What do you want to? What do you charge for that?" Be
mhm.
like, uh,
Tell me
you
more
know,
about your event.
Exactly. More information needed.
This would be that's a great example of like whether fear gets in the way. Are we able to stay present enough to realize we want to ask and learn more first? Or do we get stuck, frozen? Do we think we just need to say something? So these are all, yeah.
That's a very
yeah,
good.
because I mean, that just blew. It's like $18,000. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine. And somebody's like, I pay you $18,000. I
Well,
was just like, okay.
I said it's great. And sometimes we need to have an experience that has us go, and like shakes everything up and gets us to like
Mhm.
settle everything in a new way. And so
Yeah.
you probably open to getting paid more from hearing that.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Probably, but yeah, that was kind of that for me. That was a shock because I just was like, what? Like, I was like
Context
that thought
change.
was like, what?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm present to that. I know a couple of people would like some work today, so I wonder maybe if we might shift to
Okay.
doing some of that.
Mhm.
The two of you that requested, do you have a preference who wants to go first? And I know one of you wants to do it from your chair, and I don't think I don't remember maybe the other one of you how you want to do this. And Who wants to go?
Okay, we
Yeah,
got a
maybe.
question in the chat.
Oh yeah, we have. Okay, yeah, this is one of the people. Do you want us to read it out? Do you want to be totally anonymous? Do you want to unmute and say anything? It's up to you. We're recording. This is going to get posted online. And that's not. I know you have some other questions too. So, where did you want to? Do you want to unmute? You want me to read? Okay, I'm looking for more places to learn how to enhance my abilities. I did a lot of clearing since last night and feel so much better. I don't have fear from having abilities. Do you want to write and say a little bit more in terms of like the clearing you did last night in case there's something else or just feedback about the work that you did?
Did you go to a practice circle last night? Is that where part of the clearing came from, regarding your abilities, or can you tell us more about what that is?
I think the team here really wants to support you, so we want to have enough context to be able to support
Okay,
you.
we'll just come off mute.
Okay, great.
So yeah, I was there last night. And they suggested that I do a lot of clearing. I want to talk to Kai a little bit about it. I have a situation where I'm just coming into my abilities, but I have someone who is doing spell work to stop me, having some blockage with spell work on me, on my business, uh, on my board, to stop us from doing. We're a 501c3, and and she's hiring people to do the spell work, and it's just been a mess. But so last night, I was feeling very overwhelmed and weighed down, and they wanted me to do some clearing. So I took my crystal quartz and my rose quartz and did some loving of myself, some clearing, some protection, white light protection over myself today. I saged my house today. I just trying to clear my house, my car, just kind of everything to try to protect and clear everything, all the energies out right now. But it's on a daily basis that I have a friend who is very intuitive, who tries to clear everything out daily, but she's 80 years old and she's she gets very tired after it's done. She can't keep up, it's just very tiresome. And we feel it's blocking a lot of our money situations with our 501c3. We've put in for a lot of personal grants. We know grants aren't out there right now, but we've put in for a few personal grants. One of them ended up being scammed, but it's just been in my personal life, my professional life, and everything. So, and there, I guess we were just talking about, do I have, a thing of poverty? Do I, to know too, or how do I clear? I need this
Yeah.
person out of my business and out of my life and out of,
Can you say a little
Okay.
bit about how you know that this person is doing spell work on you? Do you have this plane
well,
experience? Can you sense it, or your guides telling you? Like, how are you?
I've had readings and they've told me that supposedly I'm supposed to have had past life experience is with her. They didn't tell me um, what it was. Actually, on
Oh,
the last one we had that I was on, one of the women told me it was the last past experience. And I did know her ex-husband in this life, and he passed of cancer. We went to school together, but I didn't know him that well.
Well,
So I don't know if she has some kind of I don't know what it is.
yeah, well,
Okay, so
all four of us are here to support you, to help you understand and to do something about it. Go ahead, Kai.
okay, so what is l- okay, so first off, what makes you think that it is her and that this is actually what's happening? Is this something that you feel, something that you sense, something that somebody told you? Where this all this
All
yeah,
three, she came into the board. She came in with a friend of mine to uh she came into the organization. She caused a lot of trouble. She got between me and my significant other,
okay.
broke us up. As soon as that was broken up, they broke up. Um, it was to get at me. Uh, it's just been so much. Um, you could watch it like dominoes. You know, I've had a reading to tell me, I've watched it, lived it, just watched it.
Okay, so why do you think that she targeted you? What was the
I
motivation there?
don't know. That's the problem. I don't know. We don't know who she's. Like I said, my friend is very intuitive, and she doesn't know who she's hiring. Uh, or she could block, but she doesn't know who it is. You
Okay,
know, she's doing general blocks, but
right.
she keeps getting through.
Okay. Yeah. I can see what's happening there. So what I would say first off is there's several things that I might be able to do for you here. The first thing that needs to happen that I'm hearing very clearly is that we need to get you out of the victim mentality. Okay? Meaning you are like stuff is happening to me as if you have no control. You have your own power.
What's
You have
basically happening to all of us.
right.
But,
Just listen to what I'm saying.
okay.
We're gonna get to all that. Okay, because yeah, it is a thing that's kind of rolling out, but we're starting from one point, which is you. Okay. So for you, what I want you to focus your energy on at this point, because all this time, like you're like, oh, what's coming next? That this thing is horrible. It's like messing with everything. Da 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 da. Like I need you out of that mindset, and I need you to focus on this is my life. I am in control of everything in my life. Like nothing can stop me. Nothing can stand in the way of my good. Okay. That is the mentality I want you to have because once you kind of stake that energy down in your energy system, it radiates out. And what it does is it takes out a whole bunch of stuff even before I start working. Does that make
And,
sense?
and I want to say that
And
often what I
that's
That
see
where
is
with
I
people,
came from until she came into the picture. That's
but
the way I was.
but
And
it's
then
so
it
it's
was
built.
like,
It's building your way back there. And I want to say, so what Kai is saying is that as you start to shift, if you notice your thoughts are going back to a victim perspective, just notice and flip back to the positive, strong, powerful thought. So you're
yeah.
having to shift and shift. And this is like a gym and building a muscle.
Yeah, and
mhm.
it's not easy. What I'm telling you to do is not easy because it's especially if it's something that's been ongoing, like you're used to it. It's a pattern. You've adopted it. Like this happens, okay, here we go again. And it's a pattern. So I'm asking you to focus on breaking the pattern because once you do that, the energy around you will start to change. Okay? Because it's like I can't fix this for you.
It's
I can
not that I'm not
assist.
looking at you. I'm
Right.
writing this down. So I
Yeah,
don't.
no, that's fine. So yeah, so I want you to, that's the kind of mindset I want you to look at. And this is the mindset that I want you to share with all the other people that are involved. Like, whatever my part in this is, I own it. I can control it. No one can come after me. No one can touch me. I am good. I am protected at all times. This is the kind of mentality I want you and every other person involved in this situation to hold as much as they can. When they start to fall back into that pattern, that rut about, oh my gosh, life is horrible and she's doing it again and we'll never get through it, blah, blah, blah. Stop yourself. Like, notice when you're doing that, stop yourself and revert back to this is my life. I have control. No, nothing and no one can stand in my way. Okay, that's the first thing.
Mhm.
Now, as far as what I can do for you, is I can actually see like the rings of energy that's coming around you. Okay. Now, your friend who is this older lady, bless her, she's doing her best. She doesn't have to do this anymore. Like, tell her she can just stop because she's actually depleting herself in doing this. So tell her to stop. Tell her, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you for what you tried to do for me. You don't have to help me anymore. Okay. Because what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to build you several layers that are made from universal energy that does not take up anybody's energy, so she can just rest. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with externally. Because, yeah, I don't see her necessarily hiring anybody per se. The thing is, it's like she's talking to people and she keeps spreading this energy and it's building because of all the people that she's talking to. So that's what it is. Like she'll say something bad and other person will reflect it back at her, which then increases the energy of it that it's directed at you. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna put a shield around the whole thing and reflect it back and or send some of it to source. Because what I want is I want some of those people to actually hear what they're saying. So they go, oh, wait, I don't want to say that. What is that about? And other people to just like to take that energy and send it to source so that it can be used elsewhere. Okay, that's the first thing. So that's the first layer. And then, okay, so here's the second layer that's because like that first layer was around everything, your house, the car, the business, your friends, everybody involved. Okay, so the next layer is it's just going to be around the business. Okay, so yeah, yeah, oh my gosh, the energy is like crackling. There's like so much hate in there. Okay, so I'm gonna clear that out, send all that to source, fill that space with good energy. Okay, so now the business is protected. Okay, so let me look at your house real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna look at all the stuff involved with you, surround the energy of that, clear all that out, fill it with good energy. Okay, there's that. Now I'm gonna look at your energy. Yeah, your energy has like doubt and fear and hesitation and anxiety and all this other stuff. Okay, so I'm going to strip all that as much as I can, send it to source, fill that space up with good energy, all the way up to the top. There we go. Take a deep breath for me, please. There you go. Expansion. Good. Okay. How does that feel?
Good. We also run a bingo night which has been uh, at a bowling alley, which has been with these people. Um, will that be under that business part of that?
Okay. Let me look at that. Yeah, because I can't do anything about the space per se because it's public, it's private space, but yeah, I can surround energy of that event. Okay, let's take all that out. Fill that up. Okay, that's feeling better. I'm hearing people laugh now, so I think that should be better. Crystal,
Last
what
year
did you
was
want to add?
great. This year has been terrible.
Crystal,
Thank
what do you
you.
want to say? You're welcome.
First off, nice work, Kai. Darcy, this is, as Kai was saying, this is a very old pattern for you. So when Kai was saying, like, when you find yourself starting to go back to that pattern and how to snap yourself out of it, you could start using an affirmation. And so when you feel yourself going there, you could say, no, I affirm and confirm that no person, place, nor thing can come between me and my highest good. That will do several different things. Number one, it'll help pull you back out of that pattern. You're doing it in present time and you're doing it from a conscious place, so you're setting a conscious intent. It's responsive instead of reactive. And it changes the frequency of the energy that's happening around you. It starts to strangle off that old pattern and allows you this space to begin to step forward into this new pattern. And it's
What did
especially I'm sorry, what?
You said no person, place, or thing can what?
I affirm and confirm that no person, place, nor thing can come between me and my highest good. And you said it also a different way, Kai, like good fortune, or what was the other way how you said it?
Nothing can stand in the way of my good.
Yeah, nothing can, yeah,
Got it. Yep.
yeah. And then I would suggest to you that for the people that are part of your 501, whatever, when you guys get together, kind of have a meeting and talk about this, what you're talking about. And there's a couple people in your group that are very ungrounded. Do you know how to ground?
I mean, as far as us thinking and grounding through our feet, there's two of us who do that. The rest of them, I'm not sure if they even believe. So,
Yeah, belief is not required. All you have to do is tell them, you know what, let's all just take a deep breath
Mhm.
together, and that will do the trick.
okay.
Yeah. Because when you get a group of people together, the energy is multiplied by an exponent of 10 per number of person that's there. So you want to set the highest vibrational level you can so that you begin to lift your business and everybody that's there with you out of this old dark place and start stepping up the energy so you come into a higher place. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and once you do that, it will extend to like the people you work with, other organizations, whoever your business touches, it will extend to them as well. But it starts with you guys.
Yeah. And the person that you're struggling with, I'm just going to call her Mary. The other thing you want to do is say, I place Mary into the light. Please bless her, help her find her way. Now you're inviting Source to come in and support this, and you can let her go. You can just turn it back over to the divine. That's the whole point of that affirmation I just said.
Yeah.
Anytime she crosses your mind, please bless so and so. I put her into the light. Please bless her, help her find her way. Just anytime you think of her, do that. Just keep doing that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I interject? Because I'm totally with you on that. When you first started talking, Darcy, you were like, I was clearing energy, I was sending love to myself. Those are good things. But from what I heard, you were sending love to yourself in the form of being a victim. When we clear energy, we're taking in people's emotions and expressions to us and eye muscle movement and all that kind of stuff, consciously and unconsciously. When you send love to yourself from a victim, you're saying, oh, I need help. I can't do this. Please help me, right? But when you take charge and send love because you are strong, you're energizing those parts of yourself, your chakra system, because those are our energy centers that affect us on a moment by moment basis. But also do something really radical. And as Crystal was alluding to, send love to her as well. Because
Mhm.
then you're not fighting that energy. Because if you're fighting something, it's only going to increase because you're putting your focus on it. Crystal said, whenever you think of her, think, oh, I'm sending, positive energy out and sending it out into the universe, all that kind of stuff. That is a radical concept because you are taking charge of the energy that comes to you. You're transforming that negative energy that you believe is coming to you into something more positive. It generates an area of protection around yourself. And when you get in those situations with people that you're working with, we feed off of their feelings as well. So if they don't realize that, they're having negative thoughts and that's impacting the entire group, you have to help change that energy as well. So instead of saying, yeah, she's a terrible person, say, oh, well, she's just having her moment. Let's let her go. Let's not make her a part of our afternoon. Let's not let her overwhelm our entire meeting this evening. Let's think of something positive that we can get out of it. And then she eventually no longer has power over the group
Yeah.
because that's that energy that you are fighting is overtaking the energy of what you're trying to accomplish, the fun you're having at your bowling league, the growth and development you're having at your business meetings, because her energy overshadows her. So as far as I would like to interject, is that you need to take that power back and no longer let her have power over the group.
Don't even pick up the tug of war rope. That's what keeps you engaged. You don't want to engage at that level. It's like you can carry that rope around all day long, Karen. But
I'm not on the other end.
Yeah, I'm not picking it up. You can play tug of war all you want with yourself, that kind of thing. But instead, you've got this inventory of all the ways you've been wronged, and that kind of keeps you in that victim space. And so today you can say, okay, I'm going to do this a different way. I'm going to just keep putting her in the light every time I think about her. Bless her, help her find her way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had a friend who used to always say, bless you on your journey.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then you're not, when you're in resistance and fighting with somebody, then you're helping maintain that negative push-pull. So this whole thing where, Kai's done this work and like kind of cleared the decks for you. And now you have a lot more choices that you can make consciously. The whole point of us being here is to become more conscious, and allow ourselves to interact with spirit through this vehicle. And I'm seeing like there's two people in your group, they just feel kind of ghosty, like they're not super grounded. They just feel kind of floaty, like they float around. And when you guys are working together, it's important that everybody's really grounded, and so that you're all being able to carry the new energy that you're trying to bring in. If people are floaty, they're not going to be able to hold it. And
I have one girl right now that she's a good friend of mine, but her boyfriend is a really bad narcissist and he just pulled her out, and she's trying to get out of the situation, but she can't financially. She lives with him until she can save up enough money to get out. And so she's one that's, he has to keep an eye on her every single minute. And she was just calling the bingo, and she sent me a message and said, I cannot do bingo anymore because
Right.
he said,
Right.
you
So
can't.
time out on the field. You can't fix that.
No, I can't. But
I know.
she's the one that's
But let me
being
finish.
Mhm.
You might have to let her go out of the business because she's like an anchor or something that's got you locked going backwards. What's going to happen is when you start changing your vibration, anything that's no longer in alignment with that either fades away or is going to come up to be cleared. So you can say to your friend, I love you. I hear what your situation is. We're always here. Come back when you're ready.
That's what I did. I said, you know what, I can't,
Yeah,
we got it covered. And when you're, please come back when you can, because I want you back. But,
Yeah, that's not a burden you can carry. So
no.
Don't even try.
It's just we're having a hard time finding enough to be on our board, or volunteers, but I can't do that because it's just too much. I have enough on my own plate. So
hey, universe. Please send me the most appropriate people for our 501c3.
Absolutely. When that heavy energy that you guys are carrying because of this other friend that's sending out that negative energy that's keeping your group from being able to expand and reach higher heights, when that energy is cleared, other people will gladly come and participate because they'll be able to resonate at that level instead of coming to the group and then being depressed because of this negative energy that everybody is feeling. So clearing that negative energy with this gal that you think is sending out all this negative stuff, stopping that, taking control of that situation is going to help everything tremendously and might even bring a few smiles back to the organization.
Yeah. I want to encourage you to not feel guilty. You're a stand for what your 501c3 is about, and you're allowing her to have her energy to face what she needs to face.
Absolutely.
You can always put people into the light and ask them to be blessed, always. Yourself included.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can ask
Great.
for help. We have free will while we're here. Otherwise, what would be the point? Because everybody would just be doing the same thing. So we all have free will so that the divine can experience itself in 8 billion different ways. So we have to ask for help if we want divine intervention, if you will. So I don't know if you do that or not, but you can do that. I mean, when you guys all get together, you can just say, everybody, let's have a moment of calm. Please call in your highest good to come and be here. I ask, and you can ask for support from my guides, my angels, my ancestors. Please
Yeah,
come and support us.
whatever it is.
Mhm.
And for your friend that's having that issue with a narcissist, you can actually just ask for help for her as well.
Yep.
And just say, I send her help, I send her love, whatever she needs, send it to her so that she can figure her situation out so that she can come back here.
Right. I will do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great. How are you feeling now?
I feel good.
Great.
So my question originally was, is there places that I can go, well, work on these things, but I do like to read things to try to help me bring out my abilities, to learn more about my abilities. Or is there places that I can, or is there, I am going to go check out that book that you said, Kaya, but things for me to try to bring out to figure out what my abilities are.
If
I
you
think
Go
go
ahead,
ahead, Crystal.
paper.
Go ahead, Crystal.
If you are meditating and you are grounding, you go through your meditation, you come to a place where you've cleared and run everything through your space, and now you're in a receptive place. You can ask for that. Please, what is my next step? Or please direct me to the most appropriate place for me or source for me to learn about my new abilities. You want your spirit team and you to be lined up on this journey that you're on. So that the more you do that, the more you'll be able to go with guidance and hear guidance and feel guidance. And when our abilities first start to come online, it takes time. It takes time to like kind of get a sense of what they are, what the range is of them, which can change. Sometimes when you're interacting with spirit and your guides, it's almost like you have to learn the language that you guys are using between each other because it's kind of different for everybody. Um, you can ask for signs and confirmation. Um, so if you're doing the stuff I'm just talking about, then you're going to make great strides going forward to getting a better sense of what your gifts are, as well as being able to find community and kindred spirits that you want to connect to. You can ask that as well. Please help me find kindred spirits that are in alignment with what I'm seeking. Um, we just have to put it out there, and then we have to allow it to unfold.
My thing is, I always tell people, like, when you're trying to figure out what your gifts are, is follow your curiosity.
Mhm.
Like, what are the things that you're interested in? So depending on what it is, like if you're interested in learning about tarot, or if you're looking at different types of energy healing, or if you're looking at um whatever it might be that piques your curiosity, like read up on it. Like there's tons of information on the web that you can look at just to kind of see, like just test it out. Of course, practice circles that MeWe puts on. If you want to just try something and just test it out, like, can I do this? Like if you're interested in mediumship, and at some point, I think it's probably too soon, look for a mentor. You want to be really careful about who you choose as a mentor, because some are good, some are not so good. So you need to be really careful about that, which is why I tell people, like, don't go immediately looking for a mentor because you're not ready to discern what's good, because some people are really good at hiding their intentions,
Mhm.
and you don't want to run off to do that. But follow your curiosity, like look into things, check things out, go to seminars, listen to, because people give a lot of free talks on different things, like, how do you do that, what is that about, explain that to me, just so that you kind of build up your storehouse of knowledge, I guess you could say. And then again, like, oh, that sounds interesting, let me look more into that. Maybe there's someone who actually teaches a couple of classes on it, maybe I'll try it. And the thing is, like, people seem to get this idea in their head, and I don't know if it's just a Western thing. Like once you glom onto something, like this is it, this is the thing. It's not like that,
Yeah.
because you might start with one thing and then you're like, oh wait, I like this thing better. So you go to the next thing and you go to the next thing. What we do in metaphysics actually builds on each other, builds everything that you learn, builds on the next thing.
Yeah.
So where you start may not be where you end up. So just start somewhere
Yeah.
and pick whatever is interesting, whatever you think is like, oh, that's cool. I wonder if I could do that. And just start there and see where you end up.
Yeah.
And whenever you have an interest in something else, trust that and follow that.
Yeah, I'd like to just really interject really quickly. The most important thing is to find yourself. Ask yourself what excites you. And then, like Crystal said, ask the universe, who do I need to meet? What do I need to learn? And then synchronicities will start to happen. Things that will show up that say, oh my gosh, you'll get excited. That's what I was interested in. That explains something I didn't know before, because my background is martial arts. And as a martial art instructor, what I loved most was helping people reach beyond their preconceived limitations. I didn't know anything about this world, but when I began to ask those questions, teaching kept coming up. It's like, I am not teaching Taekwondo anymore, because that's all I knew. But then I began to get information that came to me that resonated with me. Then my algorithms brought me to MeWe, and so I found a community of people who spoke the same language that I wanted to speak. And then I found that I did have a place. And although there were people that spoke the same language, I found my uniqueness. So that's what you want to find, because that's what excites us. That's what we're here to express, our uniqueness as ourselves, expressing ourselves as who we are. So I'm expressing myself as Rosemarie, a spiritual Avisha that wants to teach people about themselves and the universe and, the universal knowledge and how to bring that in. But Crystal's teaching the same thing, but she's teaching it in a way that resonates with Crystal and her connection and her uniqueness. So even though you might come in contact with someone that has a gift similar to yours, that's not your gift. So you want to find what makes you unique, what makes you excited, and how can you express being you with your group, with the people you come in contact with, and the message that you want to bring out. So I know it wasn't short, and I apologize. I do have a tendency to go on because I love this. I absolutely love it. So
It's great. We're all doing this because we have so much we want to share and so much we want to learn from each other. Well, we have someone else that asked a question, so I think it would be a good time to transition over to that. All right. Yeah.
Good luck, Darcy.
Thank you so much, Rosemary and Crystal and Kai. It's great. Thanks for your question, Dee. All right, go ahead. Do you want to speak your question, your situation?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where to start. I've been on my spiritual journey, I guess, since last year, but the main part of it started at the beginning of this year, and I've ramped up so quickly from where I was to where I am now. And I've been fine with that, but I've had a couple of things pop up as a result, and I'm here to seek clarification because I don't know exactly what I'm dealing with. I've got two different situations. The first one that I want to address, I guess the most immediate one, revolves around a multidimensional being that showed up last Sunday at one of the practice circles last Sunday, and kind of presented herself to me as someone who kind of wanted to lift me up and present me with a crown of sorts. And I think it had something to do with my ancestry. And now I'm getting kind of the impression that I'm being manipulated somewhat, and I'm not sure what that is. And the spirit guide that I'm working with right now is an ascended master. And I think this is for me to kind of discern what's going on, but because I can't hear or see, I can only perceive certain things. I'm having a hard time quite understanding what I'm dealing with fully.
May I ask you who's the master that you're working with?
Merlin,
I'm sorry, who?
Merlin,
Rollin?
Merlin,
no, Merlin,
Okay.
Merlin.
And I'm
Merlin.
wondering if we should hear the second thing before we address the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing deals with Ascended Master Merlin, and as I was going through my spiritual journey, I was presented with, I believe it's a chrysanthemum mentally, and then with a sword. And I've been doing some energy work with the sword to transmute and to dissolve energy, um, kind of practice situations. I've been working with clearing negative energy, attachments, and entities as well. So my understanding is that the sword is representative of a group that I'm possibly being recruited for. But again, that's that's the impressions I'm getting, but I really don't have all the facts on that either.
Are you wanting to just understand more about that or sense of that?
Well, the first one with this multidimensional being from another star system, that one has me concerned because I think there's ties of loyalty or fealty attached to that. And I'm not quite sure how I feel about it because I really don't understand what's being asked of me on this. And then the one with Ascended Master Merlin, I'm not quite sure exactly what that is. I have an inkling, but I'm not quite sure. And I just want to make sure that I'm like not going off on such a limb that I become delusional.
Can I speak?
So,
Oh, go ahead, Crystal.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
I was just going to say, I have a little bit of experience with ascended masters, and an ascended master is just going to guide you. Another spiritual entity will not try to lead you along and make you feel a certain way. If something is trying to make you feel a certain way, that's control. An ascended master is going to open doors and let you walk through them. They will not push you. Now, I've not worked with Merlin, but I've worked with other ascended masters. And you said the chrysanthemum and the sword. The rose cross has been a symbol of alchemy for a few hundred years. And several ascended masters have come through those groups because what they've used was ancient knowledge and kept it alive and tried to help those who were on the verge of awakening, help to guide them into a certain way of understanding. They don't tell you this is what you got to do. They don't tell you that if you get this, you're going to be great. What they tell you is that as you walk through this, you will awaken to other things and other doors will open because the process of awakening and becoming a ascended master or a teacher is a never-ending process. But it's not because you're going to get the brass ring at the end of the journey. That's not what it's about. And so if you have an entity telling you that if you do this, you're going to be accepted by millions of people, you're going to make lots of money, that is a form of control. That's earthly control. And that's not someone that has your best interest at heart. So you do get to choose who you listen to, who you accept as far as guidance. But I would listen more toward the ascended master that's trying to help you understand more or send you in a direction where you can be open to more knowledge for a greater understanding of not only yourself, because you might be on a journey to where you're learning more about the universe and how minerals work and how the mind works and how to guide healing or something like that. Whereas you will be able to do those things and not necessarily, be on front stage. But if you're doing it so that you can be on front stage, that defeats the purpose of becoming a higher consciousness because you get limited by that.
Yeah, no, I get that. The impression I'm getting is that I'm kind of at a crossroads of sorts right here, and I know a decision needs to be made. I just don't have all the information to work with. So what I do with Merlin is very distinctly different than this other entity. The other entity has actually, since this happened last Sunday, has been acting kind of like a de facto spirit guide in place of Merlin for a little while. Merlin pops in when I do energy work, but this other entity is kind of sitting there and being very
A
sweet
lower
to me.
vibration.
But when I question too much, then I get kind of pushback. Like, I'm a little
Mhm.
disappointed that you feel this way. I'm a little disappointed you're not just trusting in full and just
Mhm.
taking it in without,
Right. Yeah.
while asking questions.
Yeah,
There should be
exactly.
no ego attachment to whoever you're working with, who is a master or a guide or angel or whatever. There's no
Yeah,
coercion. There's no ego involved from that person, like, I'm disappointed in you. None of that. There should be a steady presence that at any point you can say, hey, and they are there for you.
right.
Um, but this other entity, you can just say, I'm not interested. You need to leave. I'm not doing anything with you.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
the
ask,
impression I was given is that the only reason they're here is that they've been given apparently. So last Thursday, I went to some event and I connected with my future self, which was a beautiful experience, right? Got some information that way. I don't know what it is. I just know that there was a connection made. And then Sunday, this person showed up last Sunday, or this entity showed up last Sunday. And the impression I got is that future self uh, made a decision that this entity didn't like. And so this entity jumped a little further into the past or to where I am right now to try to circumvent a
That
decision that my
that's
future self
correct.
has possibly made. Is
Mhm,
that what
That's
happened?
correct. That's exactly what's happened.
mhm.
So right now, like you're talking about, you're standing at the crossroads. That is correct. Like literally in my head, I'm seeing you are standing in the crossroads, and if you go with the entity and you accept the gift that it gives you, like it will change your life in ways that you will not expect, and it's not going to be good.
Mhm.
The other part that you're looking at, it's like this Merlin person that is currently with you right now is not who you think it is.
That's correct.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's actually a third path. So right now, this is the test. Okay. Like you have worked with Merlin in the past. And so as part of this test, like he has allowed himself to he's allowed an entity to take his shape for you during this test to see whether or not you can discern what is really an ascended master and what is not. Because what's happening is that there's like different levels of ascended masters, like they will come to you when you are ready for them. And so you're at a point now where you could get another ascended master to work with, but you have to prove that you're ready for it. So right now, this is a test. The answer is none of the above.
Correct.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Don't work with any of them. Don't take any of their gifts. Don't do anything. Just be like, thank you, goodbye, and keep going.
This
Because the Merlin
Merlin,
that you're working with is not Merlin. And
no.
he should feel different to you. And
Mhm.
if you can't tell the difference yet, you're not ready for the next level. But you will be, but you're just not there yet. That's all it is. This is just like they're just testing where you are. This Merlin part is not dangerous per se. It's just a
Right.
test. The other thing, completely dangerous. Avoid it.
Yeah.
It will destroy your life, is what I'm hearing in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sensing the energies between
Same.
the two.
Yeah.
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 You're actually stronger than this Merlin. That's the first thing I was noticing when you start talking about him. I'm like, this is not an ascended master. And honestly, I was in a meditative study group for 35 years, and it was a channel group, and it was an ascended master that taught the group, and we met once a week. You that energy, I mean, as soon as you walked in the room, you knew that this was not your average little thing that we are going to do. There was truly an ascended master. He's part of the Great White Brotherhood. He's had several lifetimes.
Yeah.
And that energy is like, you definitely know the difference. Merle, this
Yes.
guy you're talking about feels like a washed out watercolor. There's just not a whole lot of depth or power there. So
And he's like, like one of the lower level kind of people. You're beyond him. And that's why they're testing you so that you can go to the next one that can meet you where you are.
mhm.
And so
Okay, so this
basically
has
what I'm
all
saying
been
is like,
about,
don't fall for it.
yeah, so this has just all been about discernment because I have been questioning, and when I do question, it's just like, ha ha ha, kind of, no, you're not quite there, and it's, yeah, you kind of are, and so I do question on
Well, you need to start making some statements and
Yeah.
just saying, I'm ready for the next thing, whatever that is. Everybody else can step off.
And
That's
sounds like
that's really what it is.
and that it serves my highest good. I mean, anybody that shows up, you can interview them. You want to vet them so that you know they're who they say they are. Because
well,
any,
and that's yeah, that's why I'm here because this is the vetting process for
yeah,
me because it's just like, yeah, I can't make any decisions because I don't know what I'm dealing with.
for
When I
sure.
deal with the unknown, and I can only get so much information on my own from where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I'm just going to
basically,
have to
what
look to other
out of the two
sources.
choices that you've got, just say no thank you to
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just say no thank you. That's
Yeah.
it.
Continue
And,
learning.
and keep going.
And as
it,
your awareness expands, so will the entities that come into your life, whether they're human or beyond.
Yep.
it sounds like
Well,
at some point you didn't trust your capacity. You
Correct.
believed that it was them doing this and not you, and you're opening and you're allowing this good energy to come through you. And in getting too dependent on them, you lost your ability to discern.
They
so
don't want you to be mindless. A guide, master teacher, whatever. Their goal is to walk beside you like a spotter at the gym. And you're going to get on that bench and you want to press, let's say, 150 pounds. They're going to stand there with you and say, okay, we've given you all the tools. Now you're experimenting, you're testing them out. I'm going to spot you so that you don't drop this thing on your face accidentally. But there's no test about loyalty, there's no test about fealty, there's no test about you have to do it this way or we're not going to talk to you anymore. There's none of that. It's
yeah,
it should be an enrichment of yourself that you feel more self-empowered because it's like this teacher in a classroom where you're like really digging the subject and this teacher's right on and they're walking with you and they're answering your questions and then they let you go at the end of the class and you go out in the world and you do your thing and you try on this information and then you come back and it's like, this was my experience. We tend to think that those higher beings are stronger or bigger than us or that we have to like bend the knee and that's not it at all. We are part of the divine. We
right.
are an aspect of the divine here to gain experience. And we sometimes forget that. And we also sometimes think that, oh, if there's a guide or a master, then they've got more power than me. And I have to kind of give up my sovereignty and just listen to whatever they tell me. And
Right.
that's not the case.
That's
No,
correct.
no.
Yeah, yeah. I it's like when I give pushback, I get sometimes I get like some pressure placed
Hmm.
on me, like I can
Sure.
feel the pressure. So
Yep.
I guess my follow-up question was 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 I actually working with Archangel Zachiel, and was I visited by Seraphim Seraphael?
No, because they wouldn't tell you they were disappointed in you. What's happened
No,
is
no,
you're
those
You're
two
talking
didn't
about
tell me they were.
before. You're
okay.
talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah. I'm talking like within like 2, 3 weeks ago.
Your guide would walk with you until you were ready for the next level. And
Hmm.
then when you were ready, the new teacher will appear.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to get visited by all of these entities. If
Oh,
you're on a journey of awakening, an ascended master will help you till you reach a higher state. Then when you resonate with another higher energy, then that energy will come to you and help guide you through the next level. It's not like you're going to get a visit this week from Saint Germain, and the next one
Right.
is going to be, someone else. It's not going to be like that. He will walk with you, and you might have several tests on your journey of awakening before
You will have
resonate.
several tests.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before you get before you resonate at a higher level. And then things will begin to change. I personally study. Yes, I'm listening. Yes, I'm tested. Yes, I think I filled the test. And then after a while, it's like, wait a minute. Well, I already know all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, something new will come to me. And then I'm off to the races again. Wow, my mind is blown. I didn't know about that. And that's what that meant. So that's the journey. It's not just, I'm walking and then I get to meet these people along the way. It's no, I'm walking with you. And then once my consciousness has expanded and I resonate at a higher level,
Right.
then I reach a more advanced.
But on just as a side note, it's like angels will come and visit. They will pop in because I know they come to my house and talk to my cat occasionally, and I'm like, what's happening there? But so they will come in and visit you, but you'll feel their presence. Sometimes they'll say, hey, you know what I mean? Or they might or you might be doing something out and then you'll feel their presence walking with you for a short time. I mean, so angels will, depending on whatever is going on with them, they will pop in and out. But I mean, like, yeah, guides and ascended masters, there's a pattern that they follow to get you to the next thing. So Rosemary's right about that. So just keep that in mind. But what you have right now, this is your test. Keep going. Do not stop. Don't
So this
accept
is
anything. Go ahead, Lorelai.
just that we were talking about feelings earlier, and we were talking about fear. So this is a place for healthy anger. No,
Yeah.
right? This
Yeah.
is a no. None of these. Not this.
Yep, take control
Yeah.
of you.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want for what's my highest
your
good.
mind, your heart. Exactly.
The experience should leave you empowered, not drained. And you can have more than one master or guide or angel that works with you on your path while you're here. Katumi is always available if I talk to him, but pretty much he's like, your training wheels are off, man. They've been off for quite some time. I'm here, but you got this. And they become like a respected auntie or elder that walks with us, but we don't run to them every time we pinch our finger in the door. I mean, that's a learning experience. So essentially you are like the porch light that's turned on now because you're definitely bringing the power. And so things are attracted to that. Some things are benign, some things are not so cool, some things are positive. And that's where you have to check in with how does this make me feel when I spend time with this particular experience? Am I feeling pressure? Am I feeling coerced? Am I feeling shamed because I'm a disappointment? No master or teacher, anybody's going to call you a disappointment. No, that's a big clue right there. It's like, oh, okay, you're full of crap. Later days, get away from me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Did we answer your question?
You did. You did. Okay, so I'm not being recruited, and this is
Well, they're
so good.
trying.
They tried.
Yeah.
They
Trying.
tried.
So it's
Tell
like,
yourself, I
none
am
of the
not.
above.
Tell
I'm
them
not-
I am
I'm not
being
enlisting.
recruited in what you're selling. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, that happened to me when I was about 40. I was doing session work with Katumi, and did this one meditation journey, and I ended up at this place where on one side was this huge being that basically said, if you come and join us, we'll give you everything you've ever wanted. And on the other side was like a circus, and it was real noisy and chaotic, and people were just like milling and being distracted. There wasn't a lot of structure or any consciousness there. And I knew that I didn't like either one of them. And all of a sudden, a path opened up right in front of me that went right between the two, and I left them behind. So the path is there. You are uncovering it. Um, but this is a test as well, but also to trust yourself, to trust how you feel. And does this work for me? Does this feel good? Does this not feel good? Um,
Well, and it's also just to kind of reaffirm where you stand,
mhm.
because people of power, like, and this is something that a lot of people don't understand. It's like power in itself is neither good or evil. It
Correct.
is the person who makes the choices that makes it so.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of recruitment, if they could get you to flip over to the dark side, they would love that.
Yep.
So, every once in a while, we all get tested.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you still want to be on the path of the light, or do you want to try the dark for a bit? We all get tested. I know I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is one of your moments when you're like, no, I'm going to continue to walk in the light. I'm going to continue to move forward. I'm waiting for my next guide to help me through the next thing, whatever that happens to be. I've known a few people who have fallen off and decided to check out the dark side for a while. A couple of them came back, others have never been back since. But it's free will.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about free will is we can choose. Um, my thing is I always come back and I choose the light. It's harder because being dark is easy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also more rewarding. I help more people. I get to see like so much more in choosing the light. So just keep that in mind.
It's better to feel the love, I tell
I
you.
yeah. Yeah, I like myself way more working with the light than I would if I was with the dark. I would not be able to look in the mirror and like myself at all. No, no. Yes, it's harder because you have to be more in discernment. You have to practice more about practicing not judgment. It's like all the ego stuff needs to get cleared out. You got to work with your shadow side, blah, blah, blah. But if you do that, your gift will keep expanding. And the beings that want to work with you because you're embracing the light and you're doing your work, you will have a team that cannot be beat. I
Yeah.
bet the house on that.
And the levels that you learn are far beyond what you could even imagine.
Exactly.
We talk about a lot of stuff, but the ascended masters know what ascension really means. You know, we can only assume. And every level that you achieve, not only do you feel so much better about you and the world, but you do develop a sense of peace and a love for your fellow man.
Yes.
Yeah, and you leave a legacy that lasts long after you're gone because every life that you touch touches every other life.
That's true.
And you also influence the collective.
Truly.
The collective has every individual's experience happening that informs the awareness, the consciousness of the collective. And every person that embraces the light and walks with that light and does their work, you're boosting the frequency of the collective and making it more possible to walk that path, that all of us can begin to walk a higher vibrational path. And I think that's part of what's happening in the world right now, where we're having this whole strife back and forth because we are in a new age. And we're letting go of this other crap, and they're like cornered rats, and they're going to fight like hell because their negative energy feeds the negative creatures that live here and feed off of all that fear and that negativity, that hatred, that all this stuff.
That's
Where
why it stands out because so many of us are not starting to recognize those that live in that negativity. We all now see it. It's not like, it was hidden. Now it's like, oh, well, that's not right.
Yeah.
Because more of us recognize we've raised the standard of
Yeah.
what it is to be human.
Yes. And so it's like if they can take you off the board, that's great. That's one less beautiful shining light of integrity and integration that, like I said, gets pushed off the board. You're a power piece when you're doing this level of work.
Absolutely.
Well, I know we're formally at the end of the time, so I just want to let people know we're going to go a few minutes late, right? Rosemary, you can stay with us for a few more minutes, right?
Mhm.
We know we usually go a few minutes late, so we're probably unprepared. So thank you so much for your question. I appreciate deeply all the answers. I want a chance to talk a little bit about what we've been talking about. And there's someone that's been writing me a little bit in the chat that they have a different perspective, a different experience about some of this. And I wanted to give them a chance to share. And like we have some space to talk about this. So we talked about a lot of big things with these two questions. So the person that was chatting, did you want to unmute and share a little bit about what you've experienced?
Sure. Hey, when I'm really nervous, like I don't like talking in groups, but I just wanted to share it because Maria, I've actually experienced something similar to what you did or what you had going on. And yeah, not saying that all this is what's going on for you, but just kind of like it really resonated, like the similarity of what you're describing, where I realized, like, in retrospect, after going through a whole process with stuff, that actually, like, what I was experiencing was trauma in my system that was causing me to view things in a certain way and to have a lot more fear around things than I really needed to. And, it still comes up on occasion, certainly, even recently, but, I'm starting to be able to see, like, when something is like legitimately a problem versus oh, it's like more my fear and my trauma response. And yeah, again, I'm not saying any of, any of that, necessarily applies to the situation with you, but, that's, yeah, I lived in like a lot of fear, around like connecting to different guides and stuff for a long time. And, I think, and it, like in the moment, it would like legitimately feel to me like, oh my gosh, this person, this being means me harm and wants to do bad things. But, a lot of the times it was just like, yeah, just that it's like something in them resonated with something I'd experienced before in my life. And yeah, that like it was like, like just any sort of triggering experience where, yeah, so just thought I would share that.
In
Oh, thank you,
Shimei, we
Shannon.
talk about spiritual clouds, and a lot of that is the energy that we carry from past lives, um, situations that we have, energies that we need to clear. And a lot of those come up with us in varying situations that have nothing to do with what's going on. But because that energy resonates at certain levels, when we get confronted with a voice that comes in and says, oh, no, you shouldn't do that. But you really want to do it, but you shouldn't do that. That's the moment where you stop, as Kai was saying earlier, stop and take a deep breath and ask yourself, as Crystal says, is this for my higher good? And those two things right there in themselves will help you move past any fears or any outside influences that are holding you back because of fear. Eating that piece of pie is not going to kill you. But if you believe that that piece of pie is what's causing ruin in your life, you might still eat that piece of pie, but you're going to have so much regret afterward. You're going to make yourself physically sick. You see what I'm saying? So it is that innate fear, but saying, wait a minute, I was a good girl all week. I deserve this piece of pie. Maybe I should just have half. But still satisfying that desire does not put you in a place to where you're evil or you're going down a dark path. But it's how we believe, as Crystal said earlier, what we believe is. So if that piece of pie was just egging you on and you had to eat it, and then after you ate it, I'm using a piece of pie to be funny, I'm sorry, but you believe that piece of pie was going to destroy your life. I eat this piece of pie, so my husband's going to hate me. I'm going to give myself a heart attack. I'm going to leave my kids, without a mom. All of that stuff affects you physically as well, because what you believe is, so don't have the piece of pie. And then you'll feel regret. I really wanted that piece of pie. Now I got to go a whole week. So it's the same thing. You have to look at it in a reasonable fashion. What is for my higher good? Yeah, I deserve satisfaction, but I maybe don't need a piece of pie that's the size of a quarter of the cake, the quarter of the pie. Maybe I'll just have an eighth of a sliver, satisfy that, and then be okay with yourself for treating yourself. You see the difference? Those are different scenarios of the same thing that could either cause us tremendous grief and harm and destroy our hearts, our minds, or fear to the point where it destroys our relationships because we're thinking, oh, now I ate this pie, he thinks I'm terrible. You know what I mean? So it's about how we look at things that determines the benefits or the way it destroys our life. Because as Crystal said, what you believe is. And nobody has control over your beliefs but you. But it's something that always changes. But fundamentally, our foundation is set before we know we even have a choice. So it's
Yeah.
always looking within and reevaluating, where is that coming from? You know, is this for my highest good? Or, you know, is it somebody else's thought that I buried deep inside? Or is it something that's causing me fear that is unnecessary?
And I have a question about the specific things that were coming up in case um, I'm just thinking of a couple of examples. There might be tons and tons of things. So just if you want to answer, like I can imagine that it could be like fear or belief that I'm not worthy to have um, a higher being come help me. Or it could be that I feel scared of feeling the big energy and someone that I'm holding up and looking up to, and where like other people in that position have not treated me well in the past. Like there are all kinds of different beliefs and history I could have that could get in the way.
Hmm. Yeah.
So just the person that spoke to this, if you want to share anything else about it, or if you want to just leave it general like that, that's all fine.
Oh, are you talking to me?
And it's not you. No,
Are
it's the
you
other person
talking
that
to me?
shared.
Oh, Shannon.
It's the
Okay.
other person that shared, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was not paying attention for a sec. Like
It's
Laura.
okay, no. I can say again. I was saying I'm just making up like examples of what the kinds of fears could be, but I think there could be tons of different things. So it could be, for example, like that if I'm imagining if this happened to me, that I might not believe that I'm worthy of like having this being come help me. And so I would just make up and imagine that they were up to no good. Or it could be that I'm not used to being around someone that's I'm an energy that I'm holding up as higher than me. And so like I have fears and memories of when someone that literally was had authority over me didn't treat me well in the past. Like there could be all kinds of things that could come up. Did you want to say anything more specifically about what you discovered?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I really resonate, like, especially with that second example. Yeah, like it's actually something that's really been coming up for me a lot lately is like around safety, like in my own healing work. And it's just like, I mean, I knew it was an issue, but like I'm just realizing like how deep down some of that went. And it was like my whole life experience was filtered through that. And so, yeah, like it was almost like I was incapable sometimes of feeling the good in situations. So yeah, that's
Great.
yeah.
I think we all have I think my opinion, we all have limitations that keep us from opening, being ourselves more fully, allowing all of our gifts to come through. Like so it just layers and layers of sorting stuff and clearing stuff from the past and knowing our value and our worthiness and opening to letting more through and more in.
We
Yeah,
are
that's
unlimited.
yeah.
We are unlimited potential, limited only by our perceptions.
Yeah, yeah. We all come in with these like little mental stumbling blocks over things, and that's I think that's what confuses us a lot is, what might hold me back. Somebody's like, why is that a block for you? Versus it's like we all look at things so differently that it's like something that, I would be like, "Erk," full stop. Somebody else would just like leap over, and I'm like, what the? But that's part of the experience of us is that we get to like when we do come across something that stops us and then we see somebody get over it, we're like, oh, that's how you do that. And then we learn and we grow and we change and then we come to the next thing and we meet more people and if we allow ourselves to do, we can continue to overcome whatever obstacles we perceive in our way by learning how from other people.
Mhm.
Yeah. Growth and personal mastery is a lifelong process. Every time
So,
you think you've passed on, you've got another opportunity to go even further.
so Kai, if you're willing,
Mm.
something that I think would be helpful to lots of people. So clearly people here, and I just you come across as being so powerful, so confident, and while you are, at the same time, you've had lessons too. And you
Yeah.
shared a story recently about how you first started doing readings and how it wasn't just an obvious thing to you that you were going to work with other people. Do you mind sharing? Just it's recorded this time so that other people would be able to go back and listen, and the people here can hear just what that beginning journey was for you. Do you know what I'm talking about? I just think it would be
Yeah.
really helpful for people to hear that you go through this also.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I first, yeah, I mean, I've been involved in the paranormal and, from the time I was an infant. I mean, I could see ghosts and demons and things I don't even have names for from the time I was a kid. And so, um, I've always been involved in metaphysics and all this other stuff. And then I became an energy healer. I was a Reiki healer, Reiki master, and I started teaching. And after a while, I was like, I'm kind of bored with Reiki. I don't want to do it anymore. And I have a friend who's an excellent Reiki master teacher, and she was doing the BEPC shows. And because I lived near there, I never had a booth. I never even thought about having a booth. I was like, forget it, I'm not doing this. Like, like what I do is like that's just for friends, family, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And I went to the fair because I used to always go and just to see her. And she says, I got to go to the bathroom. Can you just sit at my booth, keep the seat warm, kind of thing? I'm like, sure. And this woman comes up to the table and she was like, I think I need to get a reading from you. I was like, what? And I said, oh no, I'm just keeping the seat warm. My friend had to go to the restroom. She'll be right back. And she's like, no, I need to get a reading from you. And I said, and my friend already knew that I could, she knew I could read without cards and all this kind of stuff. And I said, but I told the lady, I'm like, I don't have my cards. She's like, nope. She was adamant. She wanted me to read her. And so I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm going to go for it. So I just did the reading. She asked me questions. I answered them. And then, and then she was just like, yeah, that was exactly what I needed to hear. And I was like, okay, great. And she was like, well, what do I pay you? I'm like, I don't know. Because I wasn't planning to do this. So I said, don't worry about it. Don't pay me anything. And she was like, oh, okay. And then my friend came back from the restroom and I was just like, dang it. And she said, what? And I told her what happened. And she's like, I told you need to get a booth. And I was like, I cannot, and at the time I was like, I don't have any money. I can't do this. So the next time when the fair came back again, she actually paid for my booth and yeah, I was busy from the moment I sat down.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. You just shared that just a few days ago, and I had no idea that that was the beginning of you doing sessions. So for all of us, we all have stuff to move through.
Mhm.
And yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being on your path. Thank you for stepping through all these things. And that's community and having more of us around each other, right? Having people around us that do this, that are comfortable with this, that encourage us, that we can learn from, that we can teach. This is all part of how we keep growing. So thank you all of us for being here tonight. And we've had great feedback in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone.
Mhm.
Well, let's go through again. If there's anything else that you all want to share, go ahead. Or I say we all just share again who we are and how people can reach us. And a couple of us have specials. And yeah,
Go in the same order.
sure. Is there anything else we need to say? Yeah, go ahead. Go in the same order. Sure. Go ahead, Crystal.
I don't know if I have any more to share or not, but I'm Crystal Novak. I'm a psychic reader, conscious channel. I do energy work. I do mentoring, short-term coaching. I work from primarily a place of knowingness. Source shows up for me in all different manner of fashions. And when I'm working with somebody, what shows up is the most pertinent thing that they need to know in that moment from source. So if you go to the MIWI fairs, I might see you there. I'm also going to be at the BEPC fair in October here in a couple weeks. My information's in the chat if you want to email me or whatever. That's totally fine with me. I really enjoyed this conversation this evening. I was really cool to have Rosemary here, and what you guys in the audience were great. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Because if you keep showing up, then this can keep happening. So thank you.
And I want all your contact info to be in the video. So it's iknowstuff.me, IKNOWSTUFF.me, and
Mhm.
Crystal at iknowstuff.me.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you. Kai.
And yeah, so I'm Kai. I'm a Hawaiian kahuna. I'm a mentor, author, speaker, energy expert, energy healer. I'm so glad that you guys came tonight. We had some great questions. We're able to like really dig into lots of different things that I hope that you guys can take with you and think about and contemplate and ultimately use in some way. Because I think of the stuff that I learned from other people as just adding tools to my toolbox. And so hopefully with what we've talked about tonight, that we've added to your toolbox tonight. And yeah, if you want to reach me, my website has lots and lots of blogs on it of me rambling on different topics. So you're welcome to, make your way through all that stuff. My website is handsonfire.buzz, Buzz. And yeah, jump on there and take a look at what's there. And, hopefully that stuff will help you continue whatever you need to do. So again, thanks for coming. And this is a great discussion, had a great time. Hopefully you guys got something out of it that you can take with you, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Yes,
Great.
please.
And Rosemary.
It has been a complete joy for me to be a part of this. I'm the owner of Dragon Mastery LLC. I focus on helping you on your journey of understanding and expansion. I can, one of my biggest goals is to help people in their personal relationships, understanding why they're in certain relationships, their relationship with themselves, how to improve that relationship, clearing those negative clouds or that energy that we're holding inside that's really upsetting our life and keeping us from being the pure potential that we are here to express, to how to tap in to what excites you about being you. And I mean, it doesn't matter if it's something spiritual or a desire to help the homeless. That's something that we're all here to express because it's needed in every aspect of being human. And it takes special people to do special things. And like I said, mine is teaching, helping to expand the consciousness so that when that ultimate teacher comes, I don't think it's going to be a person. I think it's going to be a download of information, but you can't absorb the information and put it to good use unless you're open to it. As Crystal was saying, being aware helps you open those gates so that you can actually use the information and share it with others. So it was amazing to be a part of this group. I love the topics that we talked about. I love the folks that we sit here and talk together because not only did we complement each other, but we also able to take each one of our own concepts just a step further. And I know that was definitely true for myself. And so I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate the invitation and hope to do it again. So you can see me and talk to me at adragonspath.com. You can visit me here in Portland. I do have a small shop called the Dragon Shop where I offer free Jore sessions where it's just a loving energy transmission between myself, you, and the universe. And so I would love to share, meet in person, and see how I can help you on your journey.
Great. Thank you. It's been great having you.
Thank you.
And I'm Lorelei Shmayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader. I use body psychology tools. I do matchmaking. My intuitive eye reading work is at intuitiveeyereading.com. The archetypes that I read in people's eyes are at thrivetypes.com. And the body psychology tools that I use are things like fear antidotes. So you can notice what type of fear you're in and shift your body to shift out of fear. I've got tons of different presencing tools, tools for authenticity, tools for helping you be you, noticing when you're stuck and to get unstuck and to get into flow. I also run all the Me We Fairs events, and you can find out about those events at mewefairs.com. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and all kinds of videos like the video of this event. And we have all kinds of upcoming events. I'm currently helping run the BEPC Expo that is October 18-19 if you're in the Seattle area. And then coming up with Me We Fairs in person. I have a fair in Eugene the beginning of November, and then we are in Linwood in the middle of November, and then we are in Olympia later in November. And then in the middle of December, we are in Portland. And then later in December, we're going to be in Bellevue, Washington, Oregon. And then we've got lots of online events. This Friday, we have a panel on animal and nature communication. And then we've got practice circles all month. So if you are opening your gifts and you want practice, we've got a package where you can do 5 or more practice circles a month. for $40 or $32 for BIPOC folks. And I deeply appreciate that for BIPOC folks, and I deeply appreciate that a number of people that have been participating in the practice circle came here tonight too. This kind of conversation is also so supportive, not only practice, but being around more of us and being in more of these conversations. Thank you so much, Crystal and Kai and Rosemary, for doing this, for suggesting this, Kai and Crystal, and for doing this together. Thank you, Rosemary, for visiting, and thank you everyone for being here, because yeah, it takes all of us in community to have these events happen. We have not yet set the event for next month. We've been doing this once a month, so stay tuned for the date. We may set it before we get off this call. Anything anyone else wants to share before we finish up tonight?
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, you're welcome.
Great questions,
Welcome.
good conversation.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Continue on that journey in faith.
Well, you're also welcome. It's great doing this.